I bought my favorite childhood board games from classics like Mousetrap and Rockem Sockem Robots to strange games like What's in Ned's Head or even Gassy Gus. These were the ones I played the most, and maybe you did too. So let's revisit some of my favorites to see if they still hold up today. Let's open some board games. First up, we have the game that invented heart attacks, and that would be Perfection. It's a classic, but get ready to go to the hospital right after you play it. Perfection is one of those games that has been around forever, and mostly everyone knows it. I had this when I was a kid, and it was one of my favorites. Well, actually, all of these games are. That's why I'm doing this video. If you take a look at the box, the kids are loving it, they're laughing it up, and around the back, you have realistic pictures of people doing the exact same thing. And this particular version came out in 2006. Every game that I have today is the exact version I had growing up. I couldn't just get the newest version. It had to be the same one. Now, as you open the box, you get the playing board itself along with the instructions. I don't ever read these, but it's good that it's included. It's like I'm reading the newspaper. Now, the pieces that you need to put in the game are on the bottom of the board. Basically, the object of the game is to crank the clock and press start. And with that, you have 60 seconds to put every piece in the correct shape. But if you can't do it on time, it pops up and shoots out every piece. The reason why I like this game so much is because it's a fast-paced, rapid game. You just go with it. It gets your heart racing. You gotta put those pieces in, and you just know the impending doom of this thing jumping up is coming. But the big question is, does it still hold up from my childhood? I would say it does, with it not only being a lot of fun, but also a very easy setup. You can take this right out of the box and get going. Next up, we have a very unique game that I don't think many of you ever heard of. That would be Alfredo's Food Fight. This was a game I had when I was younger, of course, but I really liked it, and I've never heard of anyone else owning it. Hopefully someone watching this video has played this, but if not, I guess I'm the only one. On the box, you got a picture of him right there, and it even won Toy of the Year in 2005. Around the back, you got some people playing it, and this game came out in 2005. Let me show you how to play it. First, before you do anything, you have to put together the chef. He stands right on this plate. Now, if you take a look at the plate, it's just spaghetti and sauce. Where are the meatballs, you might be thinking? Well, they would be right here. The object of the game is to get this fork launcher, put a meatball on it, and launch the meatball at the chef. If you make it on there, it'll stick to him just like so. But the coolest part about this game is not only do you launch meatballs, but he also spins around. Oh, I just launched it right over him. All right, I got him, oh my gosh, these things launch like crazy. I gotta say, for you guys, this is probably nothing, but for me, this is the most nostalgic throwback of my life. Now, would I say, does this game hold up after all these years? Of course I would. This is the most fun game ever. Now, if that one was a little bit obscure, let's move back to a more well-known with Don't Break the Ice. Now, they actually still sell this in stores today, but it's a penguin instead of this purple bear thing. I'm not even sure what it is. It's like Barney. Right on the front, it says Don't Break the Ice. On the back, you got a little kid playing it, and this particular version was made in 1999. As we take everything out, I always remember this game had a bunch of pieces. It looks complicated at first, but all you do is just put all the ice blocks in, and then for the final step, you just get your red, not purple for some reason, bear, and place them right in the middle. And then with that, the object of the game is for two people to go back and forth and break an ice block. Whoever can knock down the last piece first without the guy falling wins. Well, you can either play it like normal or be that super annoying kid where you just start slamming stuff and ruin the game for everyone. No one likes you, bro. At the end of the day, it's a very simple game that anyone can pick up and play, although what does knock it down a little bit for me is the assembly. It's not very hard, but it is time consuming. I like games where you can set it up quick, play it, and then replay. Do I think this game holds up? I would say it does, but there's other games I'd rather play, so let's get to those. Now I have a game I'm sure you guys will get a kick out of. That would be Gassy Gus, made by Fundex. It's about a dude that farts named Gus. What more do you want? On the front, it says Gassy Gus, and the dude's eating up a storm while farting. On the back, you got some kids playing it. They're taking in those farts like a champ, and the specific version came out in 2006. Man, has this thing ever even been opened? It looks brand new. We got it still in the original packaging. Now, as crazy as all of this is, the game is pretty simple. simple. Basically, you pull one of these cards and pump his stomach that many times. Along the way, you can sabotage the player by adding in a soda card, making them have to pump 3 more times. How you make him fart is by yanking his head up and pump it again and again. Eventually, his stomach will grow and grow, causing him to fart. And does it still hold up? Of course it does. Fart was funny then, and it's still funny to this day. Now we have a game that I didn't play with that much, but I certainly had it. And that would be Don't Wake Daddy. Oh wait, I'm sorry, it's Don't Wake David. Yeah, I definitely could have found a better version, but this thing was $1 at Goodwill, so I was not gonna pass that up. Anyway, you got the classic picture of the dad waking up out of bed and the kids are scared. And then around the back, they're playing the game, and this was made in 2001. This is actually the first one so far to have a real board game. Basically, you got the game board right here, you put the dad in the middle, and then his sleeping cap on top. Now, the object of this game is super simple. All you do is go around the board trying to avoid different scenarios that could wake the dad up, because if he does, he's gonna flip out. But if you end up on something and you don't have the card in your hand, you have to press the alarm clock that many times. And instead of a dice, they have this spinner to show where you gotta go next. I'd say this game holds up definitely, and I'd even recommend picking it up if they even still make it. I have no idea. Now I have one that all of you should be familiar with. That is Rockem Sockem Robots. This is one of my all-time favorite games to this day because it's just so fun. On the front it says Rockem Sockem, but my favorite part is if you take a look in the corner, there's actually an old Kmart sticker. Of course, I bought this online because I wanted this exact version that was made in 2003, and back then Kmart was still around, so that's where you would find this. Now I'm pretty sure you guys know how to play, but I'll explain it real quick. You got the 2 robots in the middle of the boxing ring, and all you do is just slam the buttons and try to knock the other one's head off. So would I say this game holds up? That's a definite yes. One of my favorite games ever. I could play this for hours. Man, am I excited to take a look at this next game. We have What's in Ned's Head. Now there's been a couple versions of this game over the years, but I had to get this specific version because not only was it the one I had, but it's the unique gross out version. All the other versions aren't as weird or disgusting as this one. This particular version came out in 2006. Here's Ned's giant head. You just kind of place it here on the table, and then here's all of his gross items. You have items here on the complete opposite end of the spectrum. Like here's a melted lollipop or even a frog. But how about we try throw up or even a poopy diaper? But the funniest part about this is that it was actually kids who chose this stuff. If you look at the back of the box, it says items marked with that sign were winning entries sent in by kids as part of a nationwide contest. Let's go through the rest of the items we haven't seen yet. We have a tooth, this big screw, a disgusting Q-tip that's definitely been used. Looks like somebody stuck this in Cheetos. We got a rat, a tongue, this tiny brain about the size of mine, a spider, this big ant, an alien, a dirty sock, and bird poop with a worm in it. The object of the game is as simple as this. You shove all the items in Ned's head, and each player takes a turn picking a card, and then you have to try to pull that item out while successfully guessing what it is. Maybe this is difficult for a kid, but honestly, this is pretty easy. I think it would have been a little bit more interesting if they had a timer or something, so you really had to rush in there to get it out. Otherwise, you can take up an entire day feeling it until, oh, there it is, I got it. However, with that, it's still a really fun game. I would say this game definitely holds up. And with all of that, we have reached the final game, which just happens to be my favorite board game of all time. As much as I love Monopoly, that's a boring adult game to choose. I have to give my real favorite to none other than Mousetrap. Now, I actually have the original, and I'm talking from the 1960s, and they even made some obscure sequels no one's ever heard of to try to capitalize on the success, but nothing ever caught on like Mousetrap, and this is the one I had. This one came out in 2005. If you never heard of Mousetrap, you're in for a treat because there's no other game like it. Basically, you go around the board collecting a bunch of cheese or something. No one has ever actually tried to play the board game. All you ever do is just set up the trap itself and watch it go. I'm not even joking, I barely know how to play the game because the trap is just so great. I just really like how unique this game is. They went all out with the trap when they they really didn't have to. But anyway, how do you win this thing? Well, basically at the end, you just keep going around a loop, waiting for someone to land on the trap space, while at the same time, someone has to land on the turn crank space. It's the most tedious, boring thing ever. But watching that trap go is the most satisfying thing you will ever see. Put in the comments if you played any of these. Make sure to subscribe, and I am now selling merch. Click the link in the description to get yours today.